Welcome everyone to tonight's Canadian Starships live stream where we are going to have a seam stream. That means that we're going to be working on seam work getting the 1400 scale Enterprise E's. Here it is, all ready for paint. So we're going to make sure that we deal with a little bit of housekeeping stuff right off the bat. First question, can you see me? Second question, can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me. That way I know that everything is working properly tonight. We already have Skull in the chat. Hello, Skull. Welcome to the stream. Let's see who else is popping into the stream tonight. So, question 1, can you see me? Question 2, can you hear me? Skull says, all good. That's good. That means that we can get up and running on tonight's stream. So tonight we're going to be focusing not on the Enterprise Ds like I've been doing. Enterprise Ds are on hold mostly. I've got some background work that I'm doing, but they're pretty much on hold until I get something in for the armature and get that all connected. But there'll be more on that in a little bit. So let's, I'm going to monitor the chat. Eric says, fine here on Twitch. Welcome, Eric. Thank you for joining me on Twitch. That lets me know that at least somebody's over there seeing that everything is going well. Let me just check my Twitch stream here. Everything looks good on my end. I will turn my watermark on so that people, if anybody does watch me on Twitch, they know where to find my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel here at youtube.com/Canadian Starships. I mean, it's probably just Eric watching me on Twitch right now, and you already knows where to find me on YouTube. So, but that also tells me that my chat program is pulling chat from Twitch, which is great because it just all comes in real time. Well, pretty much real time. Excuse me. All comes in real time on one screen, so I don't have to be going back and forth between Twitch, YouTube, Facebook to catch all the chat. It just comes right in there. So thank you, Eric, for being a test case on that to make sure all of my technology is working properly. So we've got 4 people on YouTube and 1 person on Twitch watching so far. That is good. I'm going to just go over kind of the normal intro type of stuff. Tonight, let me throw my keyboard to the side. Let me bring this little 1400 scale ship in. And let me go to my bench view for now. And actually, I think I can probably zoom that in a little bit. Let me see what I can do about that. Can I zoom this in a little bit? Well, let me do that. It is not letting me do that. So you get to see my face for a moment while I adjust. Oh, it just needed... I had to restart my computer before a live stream, and it just needed my password. So let me get this all repositioned and configured and all that kind of stuff. Let me throw it back. I should be able to, there we go. That'll be a little bit better. Now I can throw my face in the corner so that you can see me. Oh, we're down to 3 people on YouTube. Oh, well. Well, we're here for whoever happens to be here. That is just fine. So we've got 2 of these 1400 scale beauties on the go. And the other one is behind me here, just sitting nicely on the bench. And we have to get all of the preparations done so that I can get on to my favorite part, painting, which means a lot of seam work. So this beauty right here has had a ton of seam work recently done, and before I do any more, I need to smooth down all of that seam work that I've done. So it's going to be get some seam work done, chat with the chat, talk with the chat, and be that kind of a stream tonight. So hopefully we get a few more people in. I should also just let people know on the HTM Discord that I'm live, because I haven't done that. Let's see. Let me do that in general, I guess. Where is my live stream link? Give me a moment while I grab that. My channel. Grab my link. Close that out. Back to Discord. Join me live now. There we go. That's been listed there. I've also listed it on Facebook and etc. So hopefully people will be joining sometime soon. All right. Let's see. Pretty quiet in the chat tonight. That's all right. So while we wait for other people to join, I'm going to get started working on this kit, on the projects. I just need to bring my streaming software back up so that I make sure everything is just hunky-dory wonderful here. Let me get seated. And there we go. All right. So I am using, for most of the putty work, I'm using Perfect Plastic Putty. And I like this because it is water soluble, which also means it's water sandable. And that takes a lot of work out of what needs to be done. I have been working overtime on trying to get these pylon seams taken care of. On this particular kit, some of the worst parts are the pylons. They do not fit well at all. No matter how hard you try to get those pylons in, there's always a horrible gap. So that's one of the areas that really has to be given some love on this project. But we've got some other areas that we also need to sand down. I've got some putty in on the nacelles, on the ventral secondary hull. Ventral secondary hull. The gaps in the aftermarket, between the aftermarket part for the deflector housing and the secondary hull. And I've got first round of putty done around the seam on the saucer. So we need to get all of that kind of taken care of as far as smoothing that out. And essentially, I'm going to do that with my Q-tip and some water. And that does a really, really good job of smoothing it out. Now, there might need to be some sanding, some sand refinement going on in there as well. And we will definitely do that. But for first round, it's definitely beneficial to go through this with water and a Q-tip. So, I'm feeling a bit dry tonight, so I'm going to make sure that my water bottle is nice and handy close. I have found that since I stopped drinking coffee several weeks ago, I have been going through so much water. I will have a weight loss journey update for you once we get a few more people coming into the stream, so stay tuned for that. Danny's here. Hello, Danny. Welcome. And pretty quiet stream so far. Not a whole lot going on in the chat yet, but it's early. I'm sure we'll get lots more people coming in. Danny is very familiar with the project that I'm working on right now because he's in the middle of working on it himself. Did you say earlier that you've got your Windows fully opened on that now? Danny says, don't drink the putty, though. Yeah, I am not going to drink. I am not going to drink the putty. That is for sure. Have you dry fitted anything on the kit yet, Danny, or have you literally just been in Window World? I'm just going to grab my garbage pail, bring it over so that I'm not throwing these elsewhere. All right, got it tucked there under my desk. Still need to open those. Oh, wait. Danny said, yeah, as good as, forgot a few, top of the conference lounge. Still need to open those. Yeah. Those can be challenging because they're super, super small. Next is seeing how I'm going to use those etchings. Yeah, they look good. They look really good. I'll have to try them on my next E that I've got on the schedule. Because I've got another E to do once the 1400 scale D that's on the schedule is done. And then after that, I don't have anything on the schedule yet. Although, I know that someone is contemplating a 350 Excelsior. So, I don't know if he's pulled the trigger on that yet or not. But that was a contemplation. We'll see. I'm going to have to sand these because putty's not going to do it on the nacelles. And we want a nice smooth bottom to those nacelles. All right. Moving on. The bottom underneath this hull here is always a bit of a nightmare. It's going to take several rounds, I think, of work. This little panel here that I'm working on at the moment, it's not too bad. I've also got to cut plastic to fill in the little area. Let me just bring this up to the camera a little bit. The area around the post there, there's plastic missing there because of the way that the kit provided post works. So I've got to cut some plastic to go in there, and then that's going to have to be puttied off and make sure that it's all nice and level. Just get a little close. You may see the top of my head. There we go. I'm not doing anything right in the front by the deflector because there's a part that's going to go on there. Danny says, I'm wondering now if I'm going to actually use build the window etchings into the model, or if I'm going to use them as guides for locating of window drilling. You saw what I did on this time around, right, Danny? I removed larger amounts and have masked off those windows for painting. So that's how I've handled it this time around. Whereas last time, I meticulously cut out the windows and took quite a lot of time. So, let's see. Woohoo! We've got 7 on YouTube. Make sure that you say hello in the chat. Let me know that you're here. People are starting to roll in. And we've still got our 1 on Twitch. Yay! Thank you, Eric. All right. Danny says for the post area, you could just use the kit part and remove the section where their post is supposed to go into and cut it to where it matches what you need. That is an idea. Let me explore that idea a little bit here as we go off track for the first time. Thank you, Danny. It's a good way, in a good way. I'm wondering if Hagen's going to make it to the stream because I'm borrowing his idea for something. Spare parts box. This is the Enterprise E spare parts box. Let's see what's in here. And there's a stand piece right here. Yeah, that I should be able to. The only thing is, I have also cleaned this. I made the parts, made the hole bigger, so these would take some work, but it might be faster than. I'm just gonna tear this off here because I'm gonna have to get rid of the end of it anyway. I've got loads of spare parts here. Either parts I've never used, or I've needed a saucer and I didn't need the rest of it, kind of a deal. Let's see. Just like Uncle Lou is using your idea for redesigning the torpedo launcher. Yeah. So Lou is using the photon launcher I had Keith design, and Phil is using the photon launcher that I had Keith design. And Keith is Keith from Cosmic Scale Models, and that would be. That would be, let me get this the right way, Cosmic Scale Models at cosmicscalemodels.com. So Keith has very kindly provided the 3D work necessary for the torpedo launcher. And yeah, so Lou's printed it off and got some good results with it. Phil's got it as well. And I'll probably be shipping a copy of it off to Hagen. And if anybody wants the file for that, wants the whatever, the STL file for it, let me know. I can make sure that you get that. Keith has said that he's fine with me giving it to anybody who needs it for the project. Just if you're using it, just make sure people know where you got it from, that you got it from Cosmic Scale Models. And he's quite happy to share that out as necessary. So yeah. All right. I will probably work on this off camera because I'm not sure how I will deal with that, but it would be, yeah, the right width, the right depth. Just need to cut that out, and I'll just need to find the best way to cut that out. That is that's the part that would normally go in that secondary hull for the solid post to connect into. So that's a good idea, Danny. I will look at doing that. We've got 6 viewers on YouTube and still 1 viewer on Twitch. So if you're one of those 6 people on YouTube, let me know by leaving a comment so that I know who is here. One of the best things about doing the live streams is being able to have the conversation back and forth. So let's see who is here as I tidy this thing up. All right. Have I used this one yet? Not this end. always feel like I need to be talking all the time, and it's a little easier if there's people to talk to. I need to get bifocals of some sort, preferably the invisible progressive kind. I'm getting old. My eyes are getting old. Danny says, what would even work better maybe is using it to draw out the shape on some styrene sheet. You would know how big your post is. Yeah. I mean, it's already the right width, the right depth. I just need to shorten. Where is it here? I would just need to shorten the ends off here until the parts fit. So just cut around here so it's got the right curve, because the curve should be roughly the same, and then just trim it to fit. Randy Welberg says, Happy Thanksgiving from Thunder Bay. Yes, it is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. And I have a bit of a story about that once we get a few more people here. Something to do with the turkey that's sitting in our fridge. So make sure that you're listening up for that little fun tidbit here coming up in a little bit. We are doing our turkey tomorrow. It's my daughter's birthday, and all the family is going to be around for her birthday / Thanksgiving. So we're doing our Thanksgiving dinner on her birthday. So she's getting a super homemade dinner on her birthday, and there's going to be all the family around, lots of presents, and yeah. So it should be a good day tomorrow. Danny says, oh, happy Thanksgiving, the one holiday we don't have here in Europe. Yeah, it seems to be a North American thing. And of course, all the Americans are confused when we celebrate Thanksgiving in October, which is fine, because they do it like super late. It's almost Christmas by the time they have Thanksgiving. They're like near the end of November, I think. All right, I'm going to move on to the ring around the saucer, and I'm certainly going to have to do multiple rounds of putty on this. For some of these seams where I really wanted the putty to get down in, I took the Perfect Plastic putty and I thinned it down quite a bit to turn it into a liquidy slurry. That way the putty gets down into the crevices and does a much better job of sealing up the seams. So, which works out really well on the saucer seam here, which is always a bit of a pain to get done nicely. Last time before I found the Perfect Plastic putty, I was really struggling because I would get too much putty in, and it was a lot harder. Oh, I don't need that on the screen anymore. I was really struggling with getting just the right amount of putty in, because it's a very thin seam, but it's a really important one. So the Perfect Plastic putty has really, really helped out with that type of seam. And of course, there's two things doing the legwork on these seams. You've got your putty work, which your putty work needs to be top notch, because the more you're able to clean up in good putty work, the less you have to deal with in the second part that deals with the seam is your priming stages, because a good primer will fill in some of those areas and smooth some of those areas out. And you can also, especially if you use a sandable primer. So the two kind of work lockstep in with each other. And I'm going off camera there a little bit. My apologies there. But yeah, this just cleans up all the extraneous putty really, really well. So once I give this a once over with my water sanding, I will let it dry really, really well, and I'm going to switch over to actually putting putty on the other Enterprise D over there. D? Wow, the other Enterprise E over there. Very quiet night on the stream tonight. Must be because it's a holiday weekend. Everybody's busy. Let's see. How is the Twitch stream doing? The Twitch stream is still going strong and hanging in there with our one viewer over on Twitch. Awesome. Just checking in there every so often to see what's going on. I'm really simply running the Twitch channel to see if I can funnel some traffic over to my YouTube channel. Hence why we now have it now says, you know, the youtube.com/Canadian Starships right on the screen. So so our Twitch viewers can see that. Yeah, Eric says still alive. Oh, here. Eric says still alive. See, I can pull the chat in from Twitch. So yeah, that's pretty cool that I can pull the chat in from the 3 places that I'm streaming. I'm wondering if anybody is viewing on Facebook. Let me just check that here quickly. Is anybody watching over on... Huh. Doesn't look like the stream ever got started over on Facebook Live. Very strange. It's saying that it's streaming to it. Facebook has always been very, very unreliable when it comes to live video. So, yeah, no, it's just not running over there. So I think I'm going to just can it on trying to stream to Facebook, and I'll just dual stream to Twitch and YouTube. That's fine. I know full well that Facebook streaming is completely and utterly unreliable. So you know, even just on the first round putty, this I'm going to take my glasses off so I can well, let me clear that off there. Take my glasses off and get up close so I can actually see what's going on, but that's looking pretty good even just on the first round putty. That's not going to take a huge amount to get to look nice. I have a standing, like a adjustable standing desk for my computer work desk in here, and I'm thinking that I might need to eventually go to a adjustable height desk for my live stream desk, because it sure would be nice right now to be able to just automatically lift this up to be able to see it a little bit better. There we go. Just a word of advice, if you ever have to crack open the saucer of one of these things, getting the seam to look the same afterwards is pretty much impossible. And I need to do the same thing now on the pylons. Pylons have already had a few rounds, and getting those pylon joints to be super smooth is certainly a trick on its own on this kit. Oh, we've got Ken in the chat. Welcome, Ken. Welcome to the live stream. Happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian Thanksgiving stream. The other area that's a real trick on these pylons is right at the front here where it joins. It takes an awful lot of work to get that blended just right, and I'm still far away from being there. I'm going to have to really build that up and work on that quite a bit more. If I run my finger across it, yeah, there's still quite a bit of work there to do. So I'm going to be probably still working on seam work on this probably for a couple weeks before I'm ready to paint, but I can't wait to get to the paint stage on this. Painting these things is probably one of my favorite things to do. I'm also really, let me see if I can grab it here. Don't know if you're actually going to see anything here, but I'm really excited to try out the paint masks for this kit from Mask Design. The last time I did this, I had to mask it all by hand. So I'm really excited to try that out and put out my review on those. See how they work. Especially see how they work compared to how I did it last time doing it all by hand. I'm sure it'll save me a ton of time. Although, I've got to say, doing all those masks by hand were oddly satisfying, oddly soothing. Still a bit of a rough section in here. Randy asks, am I sanding the putty with a Q-tip? Yes, yes, I am. One of the nice things about Perfect Plastic Putty is it is water soluble, and which means on all of the initial smooth out work, it works really well doing it this way. Now this side is looking a lot smoother of a transition than the other side. We are getting there. It's just taking time. So this side here definitely needs some more putty in there. All right. Doing the fingernail test. see how smooth this is. There is a considerable gap on the... let me see if I can get some of this in camera here. There was a considerable gap on the aftermarket deflector housing part that I put in there. So that's needing to be filled in quite a lot. So I knew that first round certainly would not do it on that. I mean, first round rarely does it on anything, so that's good. I'm gonna let this dry over on the bench behind me. Meanwhile, I'm gonna grab Enterprise E number 2. There she is. And none of the... I have started some putty work on the pylons, but really haven't gotten to much work on this one yet. So we actually need to do the work of applying the putty on this one. Let me throw it back to the bench. And you know what? Let's see if I can... oh, that's too far. Yeah. Let's see if I can bring it in here a little bit more so you can see what's going on. So, Randy, there are... oh, you guys can't see my face right now. There you go. So, Randy, there are instances where I will need to sand it as well. But on all this first round initial work, it just works out really well to put the putty down and then let it fully dry and then clear off all the extra with the wet Q-tip. And there are some areas where I will need to do refinement sanding once I've got it where I want it to be to get it all kind of perfect there. So yeah, it's really cool what you can do with the perfect plastic putty. All right, this needs some good water sanding back here. It's rather rough at the moment. I haven't done that yet, but let me whip up a batch of the perfect plastic putty slurry and start working on getting some more first round putty down. I'll be doing the pylon seam on the bottom. I'll be doing the ventral seams here. I'll be doing the deflector housing here. Now I'll use full strength putty on the seams here because it'll definitely need it. And then the slurry goes in the seam all the way around the saucer. Let's see. Danny says, "Oh, Andrew, I've been experimenting with lighting up the lower saucer phaser arrays using Uncle Lou's trick, and I think it may actually be possible." Yeah, so Danny, the only reason why I haven't done the bottoms, because I mean, you could you could fit the 2020 LEDs in there, but there just really is not a lot of room once you get everything in there, and it's very close to the navigation lights, so you might have to like if you put the phaser arrays down there, it might be more difficult to get the navigation lights in. So on this particular model, I'm just going with the upper phasers for that. Randy says it's an interesting idea. I'll have to try that. Yeah, really good for smoothing those initial bits down, like the seam here. Let me clear your comment out here, and then bring this up to camera. There's some really rough putty work there, but that's going to smooth completely out once I do that with the Q-tip in the water. And I don't think I used the slurry on that, so I might go back to that on this section, because those are really thin gaps comparatively. I mean, these are massive gaps for the parts, but to get the putty to actually flow in there, it's really hard if it's full strength, and the slurry works really well. So let's whip up a batch of slurry and get puttying. So I'm just going to put my batch of perfect plastic putty on there. I just checked YouTube, and I feel like my stream is really far behind on my in studio. Yeah, okay. It was just my my window in studio. I'm all good. All right, I'm just gonna make a little well here. I'm gonna fill my little plastic cup a little bit more with water and take my pipette, put a little bit in. I'm just going to probably put 2 drops of water in this little well that I created. Okay. 2 drops in. I'm going to take my toothpick and just kind of mix it up into a bit of a slurry. Really thin it down. And you can thin it down as much as you want. You can choose your texture and consistency. I don't want it super runny, but I do want it to be a lot thinner than what it comes out of the tube. Randy says, can't stay any longer, but thank you for the streams. I always learn something new. Enjoy your celebrations tomorrow, and happy birthday to your daughter. Well, thank you so much, Randy, and have a great Thanksgiving weekend too. Danny says, for the pylons to hull connection, especially the front part, are you going to use the epoxy sculpt putty again? If I need to resort to it, I will. It's just a lot harder to deal with the cleanup on. So we'll see how far I get with the perfect plastic putty, and if I need to, I will resort to the epoxy sculpt. But I'll jump off that bridge when I get to it. Not quite there yet. All right. So now that that is all slurried up, I'm going to start applying it. And I'm going to take my glasses off for this. I'm going to bring a chair over so I can get a little lower, and which means I'm going to turn this camera off. Welcome Trey to the chat. Trey said, I can't talk tonight. Trey says, what's needed is a larger, accurate model with optional Nemesis parts included. This model should have been retired. I would love 1,000 scale Enterprise E that's commercially produced. 1,000 scale E and 1,000 scale D. The two to go together, that would be awesome. And Danny says, because you also extend the connections to the hull last time, right? They are a bit off on the model. They are a lot off. And so this time around, I pre-sanded those down to make my job a little bit easier. And Danny says, Trey, 100%. Yeah, 100%, 200%. We need, I would love a commercial 1,000 scale of both the D and the E. Round 2 keeps getting asked about the 1,000 scale D, and they seem to keep saying that it is just a matter of money for the tooling. So we'll see. Let me bring my chair over, and we'll get doing some putty. All right. I turned the face cam off because if you see me on my face cam, well, I'll just show you. All you're going to see is the top of my head because I'm a lot lower down, so I'm closer to what I'm doing. So you don't want to see that. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to bring my microphone down a little bit too. So hopefully that'll be a little bit better there. All right. Let's get to puttying. And I will try to put my head up every so often to see what's going on with the chat. Hagen hasn't made it to the stream yet, has he? Let's see. Danny says, a little birdie told me they will actually announce a 350 refit in the near future. That's where their effort is at right now. Yeah, well, I know there a lot of people will want that. It's just not what I want right now. But that's fine. You can't always get what you want. As the philosopher Jagger once said. Yes, Reliant, I understand. Did I say refit? Oops. Ken says, and I hope they keep their effort on that. Reliant Andrew, not refit. Yeah, I just read it wrong. That's fine. Let me reread it for you. A little birdie told me that they will actually announce a 350 Reliant in the near future. There. Rectified it. Fixed it. Oh! Let me stand up and go back to face cam for a minute. I forgot to give my update. My weight update, yeah. Because I'm on the weight loss journey. So, I've been doing this for 4 weeks now. And over for the 4 weeks, I'm on a journey to lose 50 pounds. To get myself down into the... oh, hi, Ian. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. I'm on a journey to lose 50 pounds. And Danny says, thank you, Andrew. Now I can sleep more easily tonight. Tonight/this morning. Because what time in the morning is it over there for you? It's got to be stupid o'clock in the morning right now. Yeah, so I'm on a journey to lose 50 pounds to get down into the healthy weight range for my height, which is going to help with a kidney condition that I have, especially keeping the blood pressure under control. So I've been doing this for 4 weeks now. I am 4 weeks today, and I have lost 13.1 pounds in 4 weeks, which is 5.94 kilograms, which is, for the British viewers in the stream, 0.93 stone. And I said earlier that I have got a funny story about the turkey that's sitting in our fridge for Thanksgiving because it is Thanksgiving weekend, so we have a fresh turkey in our fridge. Actually, our realtor who we used to buy our house, when we bought our house, every year he gives a free fresh turkey for Thanksgiving to all of his clients. It's kind of like his way of keeping connected with his clients, so that, for example, if we decide to sell and upgrade, we're going to use him as our realtor because he gives us a turkey every year. So we've got a 12-pound fresh turkey sitting in the fridge. And when I measured today and did the math to see how much I lost and saw that I lost 13.1 pounds, and I looked at the turkey, that's 12 pounds, and I picked that thing up, and I'm like, wow. The weight of that I am now not carrying around on my body every day, it's crazy. Like, and you don't think about it until suddenly you're holding something 12 pounds in your hand, and you've lost 13 pounds off your body. It's it actually is really significant. So anyway, that's the journey update. So 13.1 pounds or 5.94 kilograms or 0.93 stone. that's where we are at so far. The weight loss track was a little slower this past week, but I really don't care how fast it's going as long as the trend is moving down. It's interesting to see because there's sometimes where it blips up a little bit or stays plateaued for a little bit, but that trend just keeps going down, so I'm quite excited about that. Let's see what the chat is saying. Ian says, I lost 7 pounds walking around London. Wow. Yeah, I guess you're not driving around London, right? Because you can't really take your cars into the city there. So, and Ken says, good job, Andrew, and good job, Ian. Ian says, just walk 40 miles a week and remember to top up your Oyster card. Yeah. And please mind the gap. Beggars and buskers operate on these trains. Please do not encourage their presence by supporting them. That was on the train. That was on the underground in London. And there was one at Heathrow. This was back in like 2007, so that could be changed. But the one that kept going off at Heathrow was, please be advised that all unattended luggage will be removed and destroyed. It was like, and destroyed. Please be advised that all unattended luggage will be removed and destroyed. It was the funniest thing ever. Ian says, oddly, I did not hear that announcement last week. Yeah, I mean, it was 2007, so what, that's like what? 2007... 17, that's like 17 years ago now or something like that. I don't do maths on stream. Yeah, they removed and destroyed play. Yeah, it was just funny because we were like, removed and destroyed. It was like that upward inflection. It played all the time on at Heathrow. But yeah, there was always the please mind the gap. Please mind the gap. Oh, I'm gonna switch over back to the bench here. Now my slurry will gradually start to dry off again, so if I need to, I'll just add another drop. I just realized I'm doing that off camera there. So I've just added another drop, mixing it in, just keeping it fresh and smooth. The removed and destroyed is just a polite way of saying we'll take it out to the tarmac and explodify it. All right. So this slurry is thin enough that it's going to work its way into these lovely little crevices. Now, you probably can't see it on the camera, but I can see it really up close. I have an 0402 SMD right there. That's the ventral white light in there, so I am just avoiding that because I don't want to putty in my light. And this is thin enough that it's just going to work its way down into the seam and do a really nice job of closing that up. All right. Now I'm going to work on, I guess I should do the, yeah, there's, I wish I could show you this. Let me just show you the seams I'm talking about here. Let me just go handheld here for a moment. and bring it down. Can you see the minute gap there? Especially right here. So that slurry is just going to make its way right in there and seal that up really nicely without a huge amount of mess. So that's essentially what I'm doing here. All right. Hard to believe I'm almost halfway through the stream tonight. If you're not aware, I usually stream for 2 hours on Saturday nights. I can't go too late because I do work in the morning. So 2 hours is kind of my thing, Saturday nights. I wasn't streaming last week. Between kids not wanting to go to bed and being rangy, and it was our wedding anniversary on Saturday as well. So, all things said and done, I did not get onto the stream. But most Saturday nights I'll be on stream. This seam will certainly require sanding work on this to get the joins on these two parts, the two halves, level. So they're going to take probably quite a bit of sanding work on that, just to smooth this seam out. Not because of the gap, but just because of the, let me see, just because one part always sits just a little tiny bit higher than the other. And so if you don't take care of that, then it's quite noticeable on the final product. I would hate to be a judge someplace like Wonderfest and be judging 1400 scale Enterprise E's just because I know where all the foibles lay on the project and I know what to look out for. And it would bug me, I think, if people just ignored some of this stuff. The gap in the back here is a little wider. But again, the slurry is going to just sit in there and fill it up really nicely. Ian says you are one of the few that works on Sunday and for a valid reason, yeah. Ken says, Andrew, would you ever consider using a syringe to apply the thinned putty? I would. I need to find a syringe with a very, very, very fine point on it. I almost need it to have the needle on it for it. But I've thought about it. And Dean says, good idea, Ken. It is. And Ian also says, welcome to round 2 models, everyone. Indeed, especially these older kits that are repops. Ian says, high lows is the entry price to round 2 Enterprises. Yeah. And Buck says, good evening, Canada. Welcome to the stream, Buck. Happy Thanksgiving. I know you're not celebrating Thanksgiving when we do, but happy Thanksgiving anyway. Because up here, it's Thanksgiving weekend. Yep. All right. I take my glasses off to see up close to do the work, and then I can't see the chat. I really need to get some fancy dancy invisible progressive bifocals or something. It's not been like, it's just been within the last year that my eyes have really been changing that way. Yeah, a syringe would probably go faster here for me to insert the slurry. I just need to find the right syringe probably. If anybody knows the right thing to use, you can always send me a message with the Amazon link. Some of this stuff is just so fine. Like, these are really fine gaps. I mean, they're big gaps, but they're hard. They can be hard to get putty down into. So thinning this stuff out to get it initially into those crevices really does help. Again, I've got an 0402 SMD buried down in there, so I want to avoid that because I don't want to putty in my 0402 SMD. There we go. That side down. Let's see what chat's been saying. Stamps says, I think the Enterprise E is a great looking starship. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I still think the Akira class is probably my favorite starship design. I know that might be a controversial opinion, but it's my opinion. So it's my opinion, my stream. Let's see. Danny says you need some Google glasses so you can display the chat on your glasses while you are working. Danny, don't think I haven't seriously thought about it. If I need to get some of these projects off the bench first so I can get some funds into the shop before I can buy some fun things for streams like that. That would be ideal, especially if they can stream to the computer the video feeds. So yeah, I've thought about it. Especially if you can get them in your prescription. If you can get them in your prescription, that would be fantastic. I'm sure you can. That would be ideal. It's just I don't currently have funds in the shop to be able to do that. It's one of the behind the scenes kind of things with the work here, because with the Enterprise Ds I made a switch over from the Don Shoko to the Helios when it came out, and so I haven't been able to get the projects out the door because I basically had to restart the whole thing, which has delayed some other projects on the bench like these Enterprise Es. So I haven't had the finished product income coming in to help offset some of the costs in the shop. Danny says maybe ask them if they can do one that looks like Geordi's visor. The problem is I need to be able to see through them, right? Now, if you get the Google glasses, you just have to make sure that nobody's hacking into your stream to find out your shield frequencies, right? What is it? Loose visors sink starships. Either that or you just put Troy at the helm. Troy's banged up the ship multiple times. Literally every time that we've seen her behind the con, apart from in Picard, she's really done a number on the ships. Not her fault. The first time the secondary hull exploded, Shockwave sent them into the planet. Second time she was ordered to by Picard, so it's just kind of funny that's always her. All right. Nacelles are done. Let's see if there's anything else in chat. Danny says, no, it's Deanna Troy crashes starships. Yeah. And then he says, great minds. Then Danny says, love that in Picard they made a reference to that. Ken says, yes, you don't want to give that information to the Duras sisters. Ian says, not adding to the women can't drive stereotype at all. And Stamps asks, what kind of putty do I use? Well, right now, I am using Perfect Plastic Putty. And I have thinned it down quite a lot to get into these crevices for the initial putty run. And I find on the gaps like what I'm dealing with here, thinning it down into a bit of a slurry really works well. So, next up is the big one. The big seam. How are we doing on time? 10:08. We're good for a little while. By the time I get this seam filled, we might be able to go back and do some water sanding on the other Enterprise E. And again, this is a really good seam for the slurry because it's just going to get sucked down into the seam there and do a great job of patching that up. I can't remember what I used on the last Enterprise E, but I had a terrible time with it. Especially on this seam here. So this is going so much better doing that this year. And I'm trying to remember who, because the slurry was, I think the slurry was, I think the slurry, whose idea, actually, I think that was Boyd's idea. I think that was Boyd who was using the slurry that I got that idea from over at TrekWorks. But it works out really well. Had to think about that for a moment where I got the idea from. But I always want to try to give credit to where ideas come from. Which reminds me, is Hagen on the stream yet? Is Hagen in the chat yet? Because I've taken a serious idea from Hagen, which was birthed out of an idea from Wayne doing the Don Shoko kit as far as the internal structure for the saucer is concerned. Don't really want to talk about it until Hagen makes it into the stream. Because quite literally I'm using his CAD files to make the structure. which I will be. I am going to need to greatly modify what I've already done on the armature. Ian says Boyd did the slur. Yeah. Thanks for confirming that. I was pretty sure it was Boyd who did it, and Boyd used to syringe it in with a dental syringe. A dental syringe. Okay, good to know. Yeah, if anybody finds a good syringe to use, and has an Amazon link or something like that, send that to me. Although if I mention Amazon, then Ian's going to feel compelled to buy something during my stream. It's interesting, the putty continues to dry out on the palette here, but I can just keep adding a drop of water to freshen it up. Quite nice to work with. But applying it this way is a wee bit time consuming, so it would be nice to get the right type of syringe for this. It would save me quite a bit of time, I would imagine. Gotta say, it's nice to be giving these 1400Es some love here while I'm waiting on some parts for the 650D. I mean, my clients are aware that I'm working on their E's in between the work on the D because the D was started first. But it would be nice to get these done off the bench and into the client's hands, because they've been quite patient for them. Then all I need to do is get the Enterprise Ds off the bench, then a 1400 scale Enterprise D, and then another 1400 scale Enterprise E, and then I'm free and clear for whatever next is coming down the pipeline. Whatever that next interesting commission build is. Maybe it'll be a 350 refit, and I'll finish mine before Ian finishes his. Ian says, I already bought some orange and purple LED lights for the front porch during your stream. Stamp says, sometimes I use silly putty when I am not that serious. Funny. Let's see. Halloween is our second favorite holiday to decorate. I don't think I can find the picture, but let me see if I can find the picture of our what we did last year on Halloween. It's just a matter if it's in my Dropbox downloaded pictures, because I can't grab it directly off my phone right now. No, it's not there. I'll have to get it. But we set up tables and a tent in our driveway, and we along with having full-size treats, for example, we get the king-size Reese's peanut butter cups that have the Reese's Pieces inside. We get full-size Mars bars. Sorry to the Americans who don't know what Mars bars are. And then we get the large packages of Maynard's Sour Patch Kids or Cherry Blasters, because they're free of the top 10 allergens, because we try to have something for everybody. And then we also have non-edible treats for anybody who is allergic to absolutely everything that we've provided, so that everybody gets something. But then we also have coffee and hot chocolate for everybody as well. So we give out coffee and hot chocolate in the driveway as well. So we have quite an extensive setup that we do on Halloween. And usually I'm out in the cold and rain or whatever weather gets thrown at us on Halloween evening, manning the booth. And then my wife looks after the kids, taking them out trick-or-treating. And she has some stuff that she does with them following trick-or-treating. As she does. And her mother's gonna be here to help out this year, which is nice. So the kids are excited for that. Let's see, where did I leave off? It's because it's still on my screen. That's perfect. Buck says Ian owes purchases. He was gone for a couple of weeks. Then he failed to buy anything last night. Yeah, I missed most of the stream last night. I was super tired. Oh, you think Twitch chat broke? Yeah, I'm not picking it up anymore. Let me refresh my page. Yeah, sorry about that. It's not pulling the Twitch chat anymore. Because Eric said, still alive. Hey, Ken, Ian need to work on his 350 refit. Andrew, have you ever built a Vulcan ship? No, I have never built a Vulcan ship. There's some really nice ones that I would love to do sometime, if I ever get the commissions for them. And Buck says, Eric, you broke the chat now. I'll have to see what's going on with that, because it should just be bringing the chat in, like it did at the beginning of the stream. So I'm not sure what's going on. Ian says, well, I have a chicken parm sub waiting for me upstairs. I'm heading up now, heading up in a few. He also says, don't taunt me, Andrew. Ken says, Andrew, I sent you some links in Discord for the syringes I bought. Cool, I will check those out following the stream. And Ian says, Tony bought a giant skeleton breaking out of the ground from Costco this year. Yeah, there's one of those in the yard by my daughter's school. Oh, did I? Nope, we're good. I'm going to cycle the Twitch chat on another panel I've got here, so maybe that'll work. Who knows? There's one of those in a yard near my daughter's school, and she doesn't like it at all. She really does not like seeing it. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Nobody told me I'm on the wrong screen. You were just looking at the top of my head. No, you don't want to see that. I'm talking so much, I need to refresh this a little bit. Let's just re-slurify this now. Yeah, the slurry was Boyd's thing, I guess. I love how so much of the modeling community is willing to share ideas and thoughts. Like, it's interesting with the 650 scale Enterprise D, just how much we're talking back and forth and sharing stuff. Like, I contacted Keith over at Cosmic Scale Models and asked him to design the photon launcher, the rear photon launcher for me. And so he did that. We sent back. We did a couple modifications. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's when you change things. Revisions. That's it. We did some revisions. Got it to look pretty much good. And so he was able to send that off to Lou for him to print for his, and Phil got a copy of it, probably from Lou, and I'm going to be sending off a copy to Hagen for his project. And so yeah, if anybody wants the STL file for that, Keith has said that it's he's more than happy for us to share that, pass that along for anybody who wants it for the 650D. So if you're building the kit and you want the you want Keith's improved photon launcher, send me a note. I can send you the STL for it. And or if you can't print it yourself, there's a bunch of guys who might be able to help you out with that. It's just a tiny part, but it's a whole Keith's work is a whole lot better than what came in the kit, that's for sure. So Eric, I did go over to Twitch and I did see that comment that you said. Have I ever built a Vulcan ship? And no, I've never built a Vulcan ship. There are some really nice designs I'd love to with some really unique colors, and I'd love to take a crack at it sometime. Let's see. Danny says, wasn't Boyd Mr. Perfect Plastic Putty anyways? Yeah, I think so. Wasn't he the one who made it famous for us Star Trek modelers? I remember it's on his videos where I first learned about it. Yeah, that's probably where I found out about it. Doing a lot of Star Trek models, does it give you a warped sense of humor? Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Funny. Oh, let's take my glasses off again. There are some garage kits of some Vulcan ships that would be really nice to do. But I think some of those that were available on Federation models might be difficult to get a hold of right now, because I don't know if they're still on hiatus, but I know that Federation models at least was on hiatus due to some medical issues. So there might be somebody in the chat that knows more about the current state of affairs there than I do. I have not looked recently. I do at some point want to build the 1000 scale Akira for myself. And I do at some point want to build a 1400 scale Nebula class for myself. The Nebula class was always my favorite when I was younger, when TNG was first on the air, especially in Redemption, I think it was, where Data takes command of the Sutherland. I thought the bridge set was terrible, but I always liked that that ship. I'm always a sucker for anything with like underslung warp nacelles. So the Sutherland, I mean, like the Nebula class, the Akira class, the Luna class, like the original Titan. I just really like those designs. The one from Lower Decks, that was the Vancouver. I really liked that one. I'm just going to check out YouTube just to make sure that my chat thing hasn't stopped. No, it's still good. We're still good. All right. Not so much the Miranda class. I mean, that's the one reason why I'm not so like eager for the 350 Reliant. That one doesn't thrill me anywhere near as much. Let me go back to my chat here. Let's see. Danny says, you have a quirky taste in ships, Andrew, except for the E, of course. But the nebula to me always looked like somebody chopped off parts of a galaxy, but to each their own. Well, the nebula is essentially a kit bash of the galaxy with some modifications, right? I just always liked it. It was just, I mean, I like some of the newer designs better. Like I like the Akira better. I like the Parliament class, I guess it is, that the Vancouver was. I would love a nice size kit of that. And I really like the Luna class. Yeah, so some of those smaller ships that are that have that kind of design to them. To a lesser extent, the Voyager concept that was scrapped. I kind of like that as well. They obviously went with finally went with a much more sleek design, but I thought there was some potential in that Voyager design that they had initially approved and then ended up discarding for what they went with. Gotta say, I like the seam on this copy of the kit better than on the other one back there. This one just sat much better for some reason than the other one did. So I'll have a bit more work to do on the other Enterprise E versus this one. Oh, and I failed to remove the chat off the screen again. Let's see. Stamp said, if I had extra money, I think I would go for the Excelsior by Helios. Yeah, that looks like it's a really good redesign. Like, I mean, a well-designed kit this time around. One of my clients seems to be thinking about it, so we'll see. I might end up building it on the channel. Danny says, I actually have quirky tastes too, I guess. I love DS9. Yeah, DS9 is a cool design. It's a bit of a spindly thing for a model, though. And a little difficult to display. And Stamps says, I always loved that ship. Yeah. Yeah, the Helios Excelsior looks really well designed. So I would be excited to build that one. From the way that the kit looks. Let me get this more in frame here. I'm always falling out of the frame. Need to pay attention to the camera a little bit more. Here we go. Let's give this a little bit of a refresh. Not too much. Just enough water to keep it fresh. I know it's probably really hard to see because I'm using white putty on a white piece of plastic. Getting close to being done putting this putty in on this seam. This is a big one. I think I need to clean up my high-tech applicator here. Find you can really be a lot more targeted too with the slurry. Much less mess. Which, all this seamwork stuff that you have to do always makes me wonder why people choose to paint their models before they assemble them, because I find it's a lot easier dealing with all this seamwork before paint goes down, so you're not having to retouch up all the paint and stuff, which can be a pain in and of itself. I don't know. That might be a controversial opinion. I don't know. What do you think? How do you like to do it? Tell me in the chat how you like to do it. Do you like to paint before assembly whenever possible, or do you like to assemble before paint whenever possible? And I say whenever possible because there's certainly use cases for both approaches, depending on the situation. But what I mean is, as a general rule, which way do you like to do it? Because I like to, as much as possible, whenever humanly possible, I like to paint after the model's assembled. Now on the D, I am pre-priming, putting first primer coat on the parts before assembly, but it'll get another coat of primer once it's all assembled, and that will certainly deal with majority of the light leak issues for me. All right, that seam is done, and by done I mean the first round is on, and I'm going to go back around because let me see if I can get this on camera here. One thing you might notice is as it starts to dry, you can see the spots where it's contracting, and it immediately needs some more putty. So now that this seam is starting to dry on this side, I'm going to go back around and touch up those spots with a little bit more, because it'll contract down in. Partly because the slurry is getting pulled into the seam, partly because, well, the water is evaporating as it dries and the volume is reducing. Let's see. Stamp says, I paint some things that I find hard to paint after it is put together. Yeah? So a bit of a hybrid approach, I guess. Sorry, just taking a moment to check up on the Twitch chat there, since my chat program doesn't seem to be pulling it in anymore. All right. Second round. Let's go. With the second round, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's just going to fill in that top area where it shrunk down the first time. Second pass certainly goes a little faster. As long as the putty behaves on the palette. I think I'm going to need to mix up just a little bit more. Gives me a chance to check. Danny says, I actually really like the Defiant as well. Over the years, the Enterprise B just really grew on me. I actually love that ship now. Yeah. Yeah, I think the bits that they added for Generations to the Excelsior model really do add something to it. Make it seem a little more majestic, maybe. I'm not going to mix up a whole lot more because I don't need a whole lot more. My pipette. Start with 1 drop. Mush it all up. Clean off my high-tech applicator. Ken says, Andrew, would you still buy a 350 Reliant if round 2 released it? Probably. I'd be more likely to buy it if somebody wanted a commission build of it. That's for sure. But I would likely have at least one in my stash, certainly. Probably depends on how much they're asking for it and what the reviews are like and that kind of thing. I wouldn't be like rushing to get it day of release or anything like that, but I'd probably get one and have it in my stash. Get to build it at some point. I mean, I've got two of the round 2, like 2 of the old AMT kits on my shelf right now for it. Who knows if I'll ever get to building those. Ken says, I figure that would be a great kit for client builds. Probably, yeah. I'm sure there'll be a rush on people wanting to get commissions of it if it comes out. Danny says they spend so much time into research on that Reliant 350. If that model isn't like top of the line, I will lose all trust in them. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is all the time with models, right? You get what you get, and part of our job as model builders is to take what they give us and make something presentable out of it, right? Well, it's like the Helios D kit. It's face value is a great kit, but as you get into it, there's all kinds of stuff that you've got to deal with, all these problems that come up that you have to deal with, and that's part of the job of being a model builder. You've got to
step up to the plate and deal with all the things that the makers of the kit didn't think through or overlooked or got wrong or any combination thereof. We can either complain about it or we can enjoy the process of figuring it all out.
So I choose to enjoy the process of figuring it all out, and it's really made for some good collaboration work
between myself and a bunch of other people, so. But I'm looking forward to the armature being settled, which I've got some parts on the way. They should be being cut sometime this week and shipped out to me. And I've got a bit of a rework to do on the arm I've already made for one of them. Partly because I messed up and put the T-bar on when I shouldn't have, and it won't go over the neck right now, so I've got to remove that. But also because of the change of approach that's happening. Which I will talk about in the stream if Hagen happens to come on the stream. Because he's kind of the other half in the thought process of this. So we seem to be teaming up on a lot of the thought work going into this, kind of similar to how Lou and Phil are teaming up together. Teamwork makes the D work. The Enterprise D, that is. There's a stray fiber on here.
There we go. Where did I leave off? Ken says their newer Klingon Katinga and Grissom kits are good quality. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into those kits at some point. I've got the Grissom on my shelf, and I've got the Katinga sitting on my shelf as well. And I'd love to take a crack at both of those. Probably do some of those between commission builds or something. Danny says they did a great job on the 350 Grissom, Grissom though, but it's a more easier ship to get right, I guess. Andrew, to be fair, I think the D650, for the amount of money they are asking, big nope for me. And did Hagen start his YouTube channel yet? Not that I'm aware of. I don't think he started one. Stamps says, have to go. Good night, all. Well, thank you, Stamps, for joining the stream. Hope you have a great weekend. And we'll hopefully see you next week. Trey says, if Helios doesn't learn from the errors with the 650D, they won't last. Well, honestly, they've have a look at the Excelsior that they're putting out. It looks like they've learned a lot from putting out the D. So we'll see how that turns out. I'd love to take a crack at building the 350 Excelsior that they've got there. The kit just looks like it's been much better thought through. For example, it comes with a metal armature, which is huge. That'll make the fact that it already comes with a metal armature will make the build stages of that go so much faster.
than the build stages of the 650D. I'm expecting some great results from the 650D. It's just there are challenges in building it, and part of the journey is overcoming those challenges. Like, I have bounced back and forth all over the map when it comes to the armature on the 650D, and I think what I've settled on at this point is going to be the most secure option imaginable. There I go. I can't talk again. It's a more expensive option, but I think with the route that I'm going, these models will last a lifetime and beyond. So, which is what you certainly hope for. Getting there on the second round. Very much a seam stream tonight. Seamwork stream.
Danny says, I really don't get how Helios is getting away with producing those models, though. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm happy to have them available to me. Take them while you can get them. If you're thinking about ordering the Excelsior,
do it now, because you never know how long it'll be available for. I think they're being very careful on how they promote it, how they advertise it, because they don't have, like, you can't order it on their website, so it's not like they've just got it there for people to order. So I think they're trying to be as careful with that as possible. Hopefully I've got enough to finish this off. I don't want to mix up another batch of this. Coming near the end of what I've got on the palette. Let me get this in, and then I'll pop my head up again and take a look at the chat one more time. Well, another time. Need just like the ittiest bittiest little bit of water. Reactivate some of this. Get it in there. Okay. Take a quick peek around the other side. Yeah, that's first round done. There we go.
let's see what I can do about this piece here. How easy is this going to be to cut? I'm trying to think if there's a easier way to cut this piece. I might just have to gradually score it and work my way through the plastic. Yeah, that's not going to be fun to do on a stream. All right. Yeah, so that's a fair bit of... Let me stand up here and readjust a little bit. All right. There we go. So that is a good... take your Dremel, cut it, and then just sand it down. Yeah, possibly. I'll have to play around with that. Yeah, so got a good amount of the seam work on the bottom section of both of these ships taken care of tonight. That's looking good. Obviously, this is all going to have to dry up, and then I will wet water sand these down. Curious how it's all looking on the second one here, on the other one here. Let me switch back over to the bench and throw my face in the corner here. Yeah, still more work to do on the pylons there. I'm going to have to do more work on the deflector housing here. But we're starting to look pretty good on the saucer seam here. I don't think that's going to take a whole lot of work this time around. So that's looking good. Yeah. Trey says their Excelsior does look amazing. Hopefully the final product doesn't remove any of the parts. Yeah, hopefully it turns out as well as what it's looking like, because I think that's going to be a winner. If they can produce it en masse the way that they have represented it in those videos there. Especially with the metal armature, that's going to be a game changer, I think, on it. Yeah, so I was kind of waiting a little bit for Hagen to show up in the chat, but he hasn't. So I'm going to show you... Oh, I've doubled up here. There we go. I'm going to show you what it is that's going to go into the saucer section here. Just have to grab it here. If you've seen some of Hagen's posts in the groups the last little while, you may have already seen what we're doing. And so to preface this, Hagen was talking with Wayne from Motion Picture Miniatures, and Wayne provided him the CAD file for the inner saucer support that he's putting into the Don Shoko kit he's building for Terry Metalis. And Hagen has taken it and he's upscaled it for the 650D. And let me just save the image here quickly. Actually, I've already got it saved in the downloads. So let's see if I can just grab it here, throw it in. And Ta-da! That's what it looks like scaled up for the 650 scale Enterprise D. And so Hagen has shared with me his CAD file, and I have uploaded to send a cutting service, and it is currently in production. Well, the two of them are currently in production, and they're going to be sent to me. They should be shipping out to me on October the 17th. Then they have to make it through customs across the border and make it to me. And so this is what I'm on hold waiting for. I'm going to need to make some adjustments to the armature, the arm that I've already put in. We may need to shorten it or build some supports in to match up to this plate, but this is what's going in. So hopefully that'll turn out really, really well to support the saucer. Let's see. Oh, Danny says, I have to get some sleep. Night, guys. Night, Andrew. Had a fun time in Puttyland. Well, thanks for joining, Danny. I know that it is stupid o'clock in the morning for you. Let's see. Oh, I can't check. So I think it's 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours difference. So yeah, definitely I would be in bed too if I were in his area. So all right. So that's going to wrap it up for this stream. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you had fun watching me do putty work. It's not the most exciting live stream work, but the chat and the talk during the whole process is really the fun part. So if you've enjoyed this stream, make sure that you hit that like button if you're new to my channel, or you haven't done so yet. Why not hit that subscribe button today? You'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew, and this is Canadian Starships live stream. I will see you back here 9 Eastern next Saturday for the live stream again. So have a great night, everyone.